Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. We got Jack and myself going live right now to talk about the Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas press conference that went down today. They got a lot of good things to say. And yeah, we want to go live, do a Jets Q&A, talk to everybody in the chat because it's a dry spell or a dry period rather for the New York Jets and the NFL in general because it's the heart of the offseason. But free agency does kick off in 2 weeks. So we got a lot to talk about in the coming weeks. So what is going on, Jack? How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm very happy to be here, talking some Jets as always, and yeah, very happy to be here. Let's get it going.
Let's get it going. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yes, sir, I am representing my Mekhi Becton jersey. I saw a tweet from Ian Rappaport today that the Raiders are potentially moving on from Trent Brown, and it just made me think, like, wow, I'm so thankful that we have Mekhi Becton. We don't have to worry about our franchise left tackle position anymore because it's a good thing that we don't have to worry about that because that's an important position. But we do have to worry about the quarterback position. Am I right? So Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh had a lot of things to say, and we're going to talk about it and in this stream. So first thing I want us to talk about is, what do you think the first question Joe Douglas was asked? And that is Sam Darnold. He had the same thing that he said about Sam that he had to say a couple months ago. His stance hasn't changed. He raved about Sam's toughness. He raved about his talent. Sam's a great player. He thinks he's going to have a very good future in this league. And then he, later on in the interview, he got asked about Sam, if he's going to answer any calls. And he said, yes, if people call the New York Jets and they're interested in Sam Darnold, he will pick up the phone. And that's an interesting statement because Joe Douglas said earlier on in the season, in like September or so, you know, I'm going to answer everybody. I'm going to answer any teams that call the Jets besides the quarterback position because we think Sam's our franchise guy. And now he doesn't say that now. So what's your take on that, Jack, of Joe Douglas saying he's going to answer the phone? Because we hear that Adam Schefter's reporting that teams are very interested in Sam Darnold and they already are calling the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we kind of knew this was coming as Jet fans. I mean, some of us had hopes for Sam to be the quarterback next year. But, I think that, Saleh just couldn't – I mean, not Saleh, Joe Douglas rather just couldn't have said what he said today back then, so early, not even in the offseason at all. You know what I'm saying? Just like so early after the season had ended, as soon as we had hired Robert Saleh, it was way too early to start making comments like that, which Joe Douglas understands. He's a smart guy. I feel like now as we're approaching the official start of the offseason, it's okay to start saying things like that. Obviously, like I said, like this is not news to any Jet fans. We all knew that, Sam Darnold was going to get shopped this offseason. So, I think it's just, a matter of time. And it's the right time now for him to start, putting it out there, at least from the Jets organization, that they're willing to take calls for Sam Darnold. Because if anybody can totally go out there and fleece an organization for Sam, it's going to be Joe Douglas. So yeah, honestly, I view this as a positive comment. I mean, if you guys are familiar with our show, you know how I feel about Sam. I think he's got all the potential in the world. But you know what? If Joe Douglas is gonna get something out of Sam Darnold, then let's do it.
Yeah, man, this isn't news to me, to be honest, because everybody that watches a Joe Douglas press conference, he says the same thing over and over, that he will answer the call if somebody calls him regarding one of their players. And that's Joe Douglas' philosophy. That's his mindset when it comes to being a general manager, and we have to become used to it. That is the exact reason why Jamal Adams got upset, because Joe Douglas answered a call on Jamal Adams, and Jamal being himself, he thinks, oh, why would you guys answer the call if I'm your guy that you want to be here long term? So that's Joe Douglas as a GM, which I think is totally okay with. Just because he answers the phone does not mean he's going to trade you. But at the end of the day, if I had to guess and I have to put money on it, I think that Sam Darnold will get traded in the end. But it's not going to happen, I think, until the NFL draft or the week of the draft, because they got a lot of evaluations to do. He got asked about the rookie quarterbacks in this draft, and he said there's a lot of depth there, and he's always looking to improve every single position on this roster, every single position that they're going to put a lot of time into. So it's going to be interesting. There's the Sam Darnold question is going to be here for a long time, and I think Jets fans could really get around the decision. And I feel like we're all going to be, not too surprised. I think there's still a handful of Jets fans that rather keep Sam and trade down and just build around everybody. But that's what's going to happen. It's going to be Justin Fields. It's going to be Zach Wilson. It's going to be Sam Darnold. It's going to be Deshaun Watson. Or is it going to be Mac Jones? Or is it going to be somebody else in the draft? Or is it going to be a free agent? There's so many opportunities out there for the Jets quarterback. So we'll see what they do. Another thing I want to talk about that Joe Douglas said is how he's going to approach this free agency. I think this is very interesting. His philosophy on free agency, and I quote, Joe Douglas said this: "Our philosophy and stance has not changed. Our goal and our plan is to be a team that builds through this draft and use free agency to supplement our roster." So what that tells us is, or at least it tells me, he's not going to go out there and spend a lot of money in free agency on one player, rather. What that quote tells me is Joe Douglas understands in order to win a Super Bowl, and he also said this, quote, he said something like, in order to win a Super Bowl and be a consistent Super Bowl contender, you need to build through the draft and hit on your draft picks. Free agency is not the avenue to do that. And he's completely right. Obviously, I don't think Joe Douglas is just not going to sign anybody in free agency that has talent. He's going to be smart. I feel like he's going to do pretty much the same thing last year in free agency, and that's signing guys to cheaper deals, one-year deals. Instead of going for the tier A guys, that's going to be annually $15+ million per year. He's going to settle for the tier B and build the roster through free agency of depth and get quality veterans, get quality young players for cheaper than the tier A guys such as Allen Robinson, maybe even Joe Thuney and guys like that. And he's going to use the draft capital that he has, which is a lot, to build through the draft. So what's your thoughts on Joe Douglas's philosophy when it comes to free agency, and what can we expect in the next 2 weeks when leading up to free agency for the Jets, Jack?
I mean, another thing that's, not really that surprising to hear from Joe Douglas, I wasn't expecting him to, go out and break the bank on a wide receiver such as Allen Robinson. We've been talking about much cheaper guys that can come in and get the job done, that could fit this system. And, Allen Robinson would be a great player, but like Joe Douglas he knows where we are as an organization right now. We shouldn't, spend a lot of money on a position like wide receiver because we just have way too many holes elsewhere on the roster. So, Joe Douglas has kind of made it known that he wants to build this team through the draft, which is, how you really make a competitive team year in and year out is acquiring depth and doing it through the draft and, getting a bunch of studs on rookie contracts. And then you can go out and get an Allen Robinson or something like that and go make a run. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really surprised at anything that I heard so far from these first two questions, at least from Joe Douglas. Just typical Joe Douglas as far as I've seen throughout his tenure as the Jets general manager. I mean, I think if anything, you mentioned maybe not even Thuney. I think if anything, he would break the bank on an offensive lineman.
Agree.
But probably not a wide receiver. I don't think this looks good for Deshaun Watson at all. Sorry, everybody. But, I'm really not surprised by what I heard at all.
Yeah, man. And I think Jets fans should be happy that we heard this because we're so used to having Mike McCagnon as our GM. And that what he did is go out there and get the top tier free agents when we had all the money in the world to spend, like CJ Mosley. We know how that went. And CJ Sillijet, we're going to talk about him later on. Le'Veon Bell, Tremaine Johnson. I mean, that's what happens when you have a GM that thinks that we can just have a short-term answer. Like, oh, let's pay this guy a lot of money for the stuff that he did previously instead of trying to find value in free agency, pay him for cheaper, and then let him have a chip on his shoulder to have a contract year. And that's refreshing. I feel like Jets fans, we want the stars. We want the top tier free agents. We want the Allen Robinsons. We want to go out after Deshaun Watson. We want Joe Thuney. We want Shaq Barrett. We want all the top tier guys. But realistically, you don't go after the top tier guys unless we're one of those players away from a Super Bowl. And we're not even close to being a Super Bowl roster. We're not even close to being a playoff roster as we stand because there's so many holes. And Joe Douglas understands that. And it's refreshing. And we have to realize that we build through the draft in order to obtain long-term success. And that is what Jets fans need to start being comfortable with. And yes, is Joe Douglas going to nail every single draft pick in this coming draft? No, that's unrealistic. We have so many picks where it's ridiculous. You can't even imagine that he can hit on all of them. If he does hit on all of them, then crown him as the king of the universe. But still, we should be thankful that Douglas is not going to go in this free agency and just sign three players for ridiculous contracts. Because that's the reason why the Jets are been so bad for this decade, because they're so impatient. They want to build through free agency, and that sets you up for failure. Look where we are today. And the reason why is because we've been in cap hell, draft capital hell, because we're signing big time free agents and it never works. So I feel like this is a complete change of Jets organization philosophy. We saw it last year in Joe Douglas's first free agency. He went out there and signed guys like, Connor McGovern, very cheap guy. He was not the top tier offensive lineman, but he's solid. George Fant, he spent a decent amount of money on George Fant, $10 million annually, I'm pretty sure. And he signed guys for 1 year cheap contracts. And I feel like we're going to see the same thing. And he wants to build through the draft. And that's how you got to do it. That's how you build a sustainable roster. And it might not be the flashy stuff, but I'll say this. He definitely needs to hit on his draft picks, because you cannot build through the draft if you're not hit the draft picks. And I'm not saying I don't think he will. I have the confidence that he will, but let's see. We got a long way to go. If you guys are new to the stream, please make sure you hit that like button. We got 46 people live right now. Welcome in, everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. We got 15 likes with 43 people in here. Let's run up that like button. If you guys are enjoying the stream today, please make sure you do so. Greatly appreciate it. So let's talk about what Robert Saleh had to say today. One quote that Robert Saleh said was, "The one thing that is very clear is the character of the individuals." Because last time we spoke to we heard from Robert Saleh, rather, he hasn't really had a good sense of the Jets because he just got hired. Now he had a month and a half of being the Jets head coach. He's evaluating every single player. He's getting to know the roster. He's implementing his scheme. He's hiring a brand new coaching staff. So Robert Saleh is getting a way better feel of the Jets players. And this is a good quote. One thing that stands out to him is the characters. And that's the character of each individual. And that's something that Joe Douglas always said in every press conference about what he's looking for in free agency and the draft is character. Somebody that has a mindset, that all gas, no break mentality, somebody that is a relentless worker, somebody that hates to lose more than they love to win. And that really shows you that Joe Douglas is building it exactly how he said he would. So, Jack, what's your thoughts of Robert Saleh saying that he notices that there's a lot of individuals on this roster already that has high character?
I think it's fantastic to hear. I think that there's a lot of, younger talent on this team that's, doesn't want their careers to be, plagued by the historically bad New York Jets. And I truly think there's a lot of people in this organization right now that really want to turn this thing around and really want to win in New York. Everybody knows how passionate we are as a fan base and how crazy of a place it is to play. So you know what? We have some really, really hungry young guys. I keep thinking about Quinton Williams. I keep thinking about Makai Becton, anybody else on the defensive line, and I feel like, I think about Marcus Maye, that's another topic that we'll get into, but, it's just good to hear, man. I feel like Saleh is the perfect guy to coach up this young team. He's a character guy. So, it's just another great thing to hear, and also not really a surprising thing to hear. I just feel like they touched all their bases today. Nothing that they said is really going to shock you or blow you away, but just kind of reassuring what we already know about Saleh and Joe Douglas.
Absolutely, man. And Robert Saleh also said something interesting about the cornerback position and how he wants a cornerback. And he says it's very important to have a cornerback that can win the one-on-one battles, especially late in the game. And that's pretty dope because, Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded coach. He's not going to be calling the plays on defense, but he's obviously implementing his philosophy and his scheme. But I think that they're definitely going to be in the market for a cornerback, whether that's via draft or free agency. Who knows? I think both are going to tackle that position. And I'm just so excited for Robert Saleh to really get his hands on this roster himself and give Joe Douglas a little of his brain. Like, hey, I think this player fits my mold. And then Joe Douglas says, yeah, I think this player does as well. I'm just excited for it to finally come to fruition of this offseason. It's been so long since we can talk about anything brand new Jets news related. Everything is so speculations and this, and that. But we're hearing good things out of Robert Saleh's mouth. I think that this quote that we just went over is awesome to hear because I feel like character goes a long way. You need to have a healthy environment within the Jets organization of players before you can be successful. You need to be able to have a good relationship with all the players. You need to be able to connect with the players and coaches. Like everything needs to be healthy off the field before you can be successful on the field. And that's exactly the type of environment Joe Douglas is trying to create here with the New York Jets. And he knows that it's going to take a long time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 1 or 2 seasons. It's more of a 3 to 5 year plan. And Robert Saleh also said, like, we're going to win championships. And he did not give up a timeline. He did not say when, but he said with confidence that he's going to win championships here with the New York Jets. And that kind of gives us excitement. Obviously, anybody can say that, and who knows if it's real. But I'm down to hear him just speculate that the Jets are going to win championships. I don't know about you guys.
100%, man. 100%.
So let's talk about the whole Marcus Maye situation. Because, we know what happened with his agent on Twitter. It was very crazy. I made a video on it today, actually. I'm going to put the quote up right now. Hold on one second. Here we go. Joe Douglas said the Jets have had productive conversation with Marcus Maye's reps. Reiterates that the Jets want him back. This was a Connor Hughes tweet. So this tells us 2 things. Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas both want Marcus Maye back, right? 2, it also tells us that the agent, he's not happy with the Jets because what he did, he went to Twitter and he called them out. Field Yates tweeted something out that the Jets have all this cap space. They have going to have the second most cap space in the NFL, and they're in a position to do anything they want, free agency or the draft, because they have every single ammunition to do so. And then his agent responds, say, yeah, they have all this cap space, but they're not taking care of their best player. They're not taking care of their team captain, their team MVP voted by the players, a guy in his prime. And that kind of makes me upset because we all know what happened with the whole Jamal Adams situation, and we did not take care of him. But I am not complaining. I am not salty about that because what we got from Jamal Adams is absolutely ridiculous. We got 2 first-rounders and a 3rd-round pick, and I think every single Jets fan is okay with that. But I just really hope – yeah, it is insane. I just really hope that this whole Marcus Maye situation gets solved up and the Jets at least franchise tag him. If I had to guess, I think the Jets will franchise tag him and then worry about the extension later on in the offseason. What do you say about this, Jack? Because we find out that the agent is calling out the Jets, that they're not taking care of them. And then we hear from Joe Douglas himself that they've had productive conversations with the agent. And Joe Douglas also said that he wants to keep Jamal Adams long-term before trading him. And he also said Sam Darnold's his franchise quarterback. And he's also, answering calls about trades. So Joe Douglas says a lot of things that doesn't happen later on. So what do you say about this quote?
First of all, Joe Douglas loves his little terms that he pulls out of his little hat. Productive conversations. That's a good one. I'm sure he said that 7 times today, probably. But when it comes to Marcus Maye, I hope they do get something done with Marcus Maye if he's really going to be super unhappy with getting franchise tagged, because I feel like we do have a lot of cap space, obviously. Joe Douglas reiterated today that he wants to really focus on building this team through the draft. So that tells me that we're not going to be spending a massive amount of money in free agency. So I feel like we're going to have, plenty of room for Marcus Maye to be able to make Marcus Maye happy, because it is a fact. He was the best player on the team this year. He had the best season of his career. I think he just turned 28 years old. He's in his prime as a safety. And, he is pretty vital, I would say, for the success of this defense moving forward. So I think that you do what needs to be done for Marcus Maye's sake. You don't pay him through the roof, but I feel like he wouldn't expect to be given a massive contract, maybe just a little more than the franchise tag. I think 10.1 something million, something like that. I don't know. I don't know how it all is going to work out financially, but I think that the Jets do have the ammo to keep Marcus Maye around and keep him happy. And I feel like that's super important for the defense moving forward.
Yeah, man, I don't think there's any excuses when it comes to Marcus Maye. Listen, we gave Joe Douglas a pass for Robbie Anderson because he understood that was a mistake. And every Jets fan knew it was a mistake when it happened. Now he has a big test. If he cannot get Marcus Maye signed to a long-term deal, and if he lets Marcus Maye hit the open market and he lets Marcus Maye walk out the door, that is a big mistake. And I'm going to hold him accountable because that is something that this Jets defense desperately needs, because the safety position, especially the way that Marcus Maye plays, is low-key such a valuable piece to defenses in today's NFL. It really is, especially with that free safety position being that, back end of the secondary, holding it down, avoiding the deep ball, even blitzing at sometimes, covering guys in the slot. He's such a versatile player, and we desperately need him for Robert Saleh coach defense because I feel like he would just thrive. But we will find out what will happen eventually. My gut tells me they will franchise tag him, and he will be played throughout the franchise tag all season. But I prefer them to extend him for a 3 to 4 year contract because he's the team leader. He's the team MVP. He is everything you want in a franchise safety, in my opinion. So we will find out. Something else I want to talk about that Joe Douglas said, which is pretty interesting because I want to hear what you guys have to say about this in the chat as well. So I want to let me know in the chat. So Joe Douglas does not believe that the Jets not knowing who their quarterback will be will impact free agents. So basically what this means is there's a big question mark surrounding the quarterback position with the Jets. We're not going to know who our quarterback is when it comes to free agency because we don't know if it's Sam. We don't know if it's Justin Fields. We don't know if it's Zach Wilson. We don't know if it's Deshaun Watson. We don't know who it is. And if you're a free agent and the Jets call you and say, hey, we're interested in bringing you in, and the free agent's like, yeah, but who's your quarterback going to be? And they're like, well, we don't know yet. Do you think that'll impact their decision-making? Joe Douglas doesn't think so. So, Jack, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I feel like it might end up impacting free agency a little bit, just because obviously, as we know, the quarterback is probably the most important position in all of sports. So obviously, anybody coming to the team is going to want to know who the quarterback is. They're going to want to get a sort of idea in their own head of how this team is going to be coming together and looking this year. So that's something that I'm a little skeptical of. I think it kind of will have a bit of an impact on free agency. Cause I know there's a lot of new mocks coming out and new quarterback rankings, and Zach Wilson's stock seems to be flying. But, I would say a majority of people out there still have Trevor Lawrence up here and everybody else down there. So I feel like, knowing that Trevor Lawrence is pretty much a 99.9% lock at pick number 1, I would say not knowing who the quarterback is going to be for the Jets probably will impact free agency. Just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I feel like when the free agents do talk to the Jets, I feel like they do have an idea because by the time free agency comes and the Jets don't have some idea of who their quarterback's going to be, that's a problem. So I feel like right now we don't know who it's going to be because Douglas doesn't want to let anybody know, and they're still evaluating. They still have to go to pro days for the rookies. They still have a lot of evaluation to do, but we'll find out, man. We'll find out. I don't think this is going to be a big issue, but it's definitely an interesting question for the media to ask him because this is something that we need to talk about. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you guys are enjoying today's stream, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We got 30 likes, but 65 people watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys joining today's stream. Shout out to everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Me and Jack are just chilling here. We wanted to go live to talk about the Jets because Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh talked to the media. And for those guys that do not know, Jack and I came up with our second version of our first round mock draft on Touchdown Kingdom, our other YouTube channel, all about the NFL. If you guys want to check it out, I left the link down below in the description. I think the thumbnail gives away who we have picking at number 2. But if you guys are curious to see who we have picking at number 23, make sure you check it out. It is down below in the description. And if you guys are not subscribed to Touchdown Kingdom, make sure you do so. I'll greatly appreciate that because I'm trying to build a new NFL channel. Thank you guys so much for that. And let's get into anything else. Anything in the chat you guys want us to talk about? I see a good question from Jets Wire official.
There's definitely a lot of questions if you just scroll.
What up, Jets Wire? How you doing, brother? With Joe Douglas saying he mainly wants to build through the draft, do you think we could still get an Allen Robinson or Joe Thuney? I personally do not think that they will get Allen Robinson. I know Allen Robinson wants to come to the Jets, and I made a video about it this morning because he's liking every single tweet linking him to the New York Jets, which is really funny. I think he wants to come to the Jets for a couple of reasons because he sees that we have a lot of cap space and he wants to get paid a lot of money, and he sees that Deshaun Watson could be coming to the Jets. And he also said on Chris Collinsworth's podcast that he wants to play for a big market like New York. I feel like Allen Robinson wants to come to the Jets, but I don't think the Jets would want Allen Robinson to come to the Jets, if that makes sense. Because if we heard what Joe Douglas said, if he wants to build through the draft, then you draft a wide receiver and you develop them through there instead of going out there and spending $20 million per year on one. And that's exactly what I think they should do because, listen, Allen Robinson's a great talent. He's one of the best wide receiver ones on the market, if not the best. And we have Denzel Mims, who I think could be a really solid starting receiver in his second season in Mike LaFleur's offense. And I think we're going to draft another receiver high in the draft, whether I think in the first 3 rounds. So I don't think the Jets are going to break the bank on Allen Robinson. I think they're going to get a guy like Curtis Samuel or somebody that's way cheaper on that tier 2 or 3 level, and then they're going to draft another receiver. But I will say this. If they were to break the bank, I definitely think it'll be Joe Thuney. So what do you think about that, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I feel like if they were to spend a lot of money in free agency this year, it would definitely be on a player like Joe Thuney, just because, Joe Douglas knows that we need to build up this offensive line in order to build up this offense and just have a successful team in general. It all starts at the line of scrimmage. We say that all the time, but it's true. So, also going back to what he said today, what you mentioned, building through the draft and all that stuff. It seems like it's more unlikely that he'll spend big money on a position like wide receiver, where you can typically find plenty of talent even in the mid rounds, towards the late rounds of the draft in that position as well. And it seems like there is a lot of wide receiver talent coming out of college this year. So I would definitely expect us to draft a receiver, sign a guy like Curtis Samuel or something like that, and then have Denzel Mims. Where does that leave Jamison Crowder? I guess not with the Jets anymore. I don't know. But going back to the question, I feel like it's much more likely that a guy like Thuney would be brought in over a guy like Robinson, just because of where we are at an organization level right now and like what the team needs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Jets do with Jamison Crowder, because they have an option to cut him and save a lot of money, or they keep him for his last year of his contract. And that all the cuts are coming up this week. We find out that the Jets cut Henry Anderson yesterday, and that frees up $8.2 million in cap space. And I feel like they're going to cut a lot more players to free up at least $80 million in total of cap space. So expect a lot of moves to be made. Henry Anderson was the first one to be butchered, and there's going to be a lot more in the upcoming days. And I'm really curious to see if Jamison Crowder is one of those guys, because he is a very solid slot receiver. He's been our most productive receiver ever since he came to the Jets. And it's either we cut him, free up a lot of money to be more flexible, and then we go in the draft and get a slot receiver as a rookie, or we just retain him and we don't have to worry about a slot receiver. We draft the slot receiver late in the draft, and then Jamison can groom him. And then when Jamison leaves, we have that rookie who's a sophomore next year to replace him. So there's a lot of interesting moves. I think the Jets are going to be very creative, and I also think the Jets are going to make a lot of moves that will shock every single Jets fan that nobody predicted. They're going to do some stuff where we're like, wow, I did not see that coming, and we're going to be upset. I guarantee that as well. I guarantee there's going to be some moves where Jets fans are going to be like, what the hell is that? Like, why would they cut him? Why would they sign him? Why would they draft him? Like, listen, it's all going to be okay. At least I hope. Anything else in the chat that we should discuss? Jets wire. I think that if we don't get Allen Robinson, I think Curtis Samuel is the most realistic option when it comes to receivers in the free agency. I don't see them really spending a lot. Maybe Will Fuller if they can get him for cheap, but we'll see, man. I don't really think it will happen. Marcus Maye will be a Jet. Book it. V-Man is the man. Sure hope so, V-Man. We need Marcus Maye here long term. And we went over Marcus Maye earlier on in the stream. So if you guys did not check it out, go back and check it out. See that we got around 66 people in here. 35 likes. Make sure you run up that thumbs up button if you guys enjoying today's stream. I know I have not been that active on Jets Media. That's because I got a lot of YouTube channels, and it's really hot right now for the New York Knicks. And on my Knicks channel, I'm trying to pump out content, and it's very dry for the Jets. But don't you worry. Leading up to free agency, I'm coming out with a lot of exclusive Jets Media content. I'll be live during the whole free agency process. There's a lot of great stuff here. So if you guys are new to Jets Media, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
For sure. We appreciate it.
What are your thoughts on this? We're clearly looking to build through the draft, but at the same time, we're nicely freeing up space to bring in some key vets, such as running back Marlon Mack or cornerback Richard Sherman. Do you want to answer this question, Jack?
Yeah, I feel like we could bring in some veterans for cheap, for sure. We said this last time in the stream on Monday night. Actually, both of these players were mentioned. I definitely would be happy with a Richard Sherman signing. Marlon Mack, maybe not as much, but you could sell me on Marlon Mack. I feel like we could get somebody for even less money than Marlon Mack. Maybe like Jamal Williams or somebody like that. But yeah, I mean, veterans like that would certainly just help this team. We have a super young and experienced team all over our roster. So yeah, I would totally be down to bring in some key veterans. Those are two good names that you mentioned there, man, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Will Darnold be kept or dealt based on comments today? I think the comments today really solidified him getting traded, in my opinion, because if Sam Darnold was the guy in Joe Douglas's brain, then he would not be answering calls. He would not be going to quarterback pro days. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like if Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh is like, yeah, Sam's our guy, like where he's not going anywhere, then why would they be going to Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, all these quarterbacks pro days? I think that really answers it. But you'd still never know. They might go to the pro days. They might go to evaluate, and then they realize, like, you know what? I think Sam's better than these prospects. You never know what could happen. What up, Jets fans? 49ers fan here. Shout out to the San Francisco 49ers fans tuning into Jets Media. I know that a lot of 49ers fans are going to become Jets fans because of their guy Robert Saleh becoming the new head coach for us, and you guys are welcomed here with open arms. I know that you guys are NFC guys, so maybe the Jets could be your favorite AFC team, and you never know. What if we meet up in the Super Bowl?
I was just about to say, we'll see you guys in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I mean, we're becoming the San Francisco 49ers. Robert Saleh is bringing they gutted the entire San Francisco staff, and they brought it here.
Crazy.
I agree. Just thinking with that Shanahan offense, they do have multiple-headed monster with Mac and the young guys. We can do damage on the ground. Facts, man. I think that this LaFleur offense, the Shanahan-style offense, is going to do great things for the Jets because it's one of those offenses that is a system for the quarterback where it lets them thrive. It gets quarterbacks really easy decisions to be made. It gives the wide receivers easy routes to get open. It gives the running back. It's just a system that's just so successful throughout the NFL. It's been successful for the past decade, if not more than that, ever since Mike Shanahan took over. But it's going to be a fun time. I think that the Jets I don't think I've been this excited for a coaching staff in a long time. Would you agree?
I would totally agree.
Because when we hired Adam Gase, we had to talk ourselves into it. Every single Jets fan was not okay with it. And the staff he hired was like, all right, Greg Williams, I'll get behind that. I think Greg Williams is a good hire at first. And he was fire, honestly, in his first season. And then he just went downhill in year 2 with the New York Jets as the defensive coordinator. But now we got a brand new coaching staff in place. Joe Douglas handpicked this guy. And it's going to be a crazy offseason. And we're finally getting there. It's been so long, and free agency kicks off in 2 weeks, guys. Oh, man. I don't even know what to expect.
It's going to be gnarly.
We're going to sign players that we did not expect. Like, I'm warning you guys. Like, when we sign players, you're like, why? Like, that's Joe Douglas's philosophy. He's looking at the tier 3 type of guys that you can sign cheaper. He's trying to find value because he said, I want to build through the draft. And that is the way you do it, because if you hit your draft picks, that's how you build, I don't want to say the word, but I'll say it, a dynasty. The Jets are nowhere close to a dynasty, but all the previous dynasties that we've seen in our lifetime with New England and all these guys, like, yeah, New England had Belichick and Tom Brady, but they hit on their draft picks later in the draft all throughout those years, and that's how they had depth on defense and offense all the time. So Douglas needs to hit on these late draft picks, get creative with trades. I think we're going to trade back a ton, honestly. I'm not saying we might trade back from 2, but we might trade back from 23. We might trade back from 34 and just acquire a boatload of picks. And there's so many different scenarios that can happen when it comes to the draft night. And I just want it to happen already, bro.
Oh, man, I'm right there with you. I mean, all I think about is who are we going to have playing quarterback next year? And I just cannot wait to actually find out.
I know, man. I hate not knowing. I hate not knowing who the hell our quarterback's going to be, man. All right, everybody in the chat right now, everyone predict who is our quarterback in 2021. Not who you want. Who do you predict? If you had to put money on it, and if you get this answer right, you win a lot of money. Who are you picking to be our Jets quarterback? Let's see the chat answer that. Who do you think, Jack?
After the comments I heard today, I would probably say Zach Wilson.
Okay. That's what everyone's saying in the chat. Zach Wilson, Watson, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson. Yeah, Zach Wilson's definitely. Zach Wilson will be a bust.
The 49ers
Fields.
fan wants us to take Jimmy G. Nah, man.
He's all yours.
Yeah, he's all yours, man. We appreciate it, though. We got enough troubles with that position.
Yeah, it's Fields, Zach Wilson, Deshaun, Russell Wilson. It won't be Sam. Yeah, so everybody in the chat is making their guesses. Everybody come back to this live stream when we find out who our quarterback is to see if you were right or wrong. Because it's just ridiculous how so many different people are saying different quarterbacks. Like, that's how crazy this offseason is going to be. That's how much of a question mark there is surrounding the QB position. And it's so frustrating. This better be the last offseason for a long time to have that question mark surrounding it, man. It really is. It has to be the last time. How about the top 5 quarterback list from Chris Sims today? He had Zach Wilson number 1, and then he had Trevor Lawrence number 2, and then I think he had like Justin Fields way down there. Chris Sims, his quarterback lists have been spot on, to be honest. If you look at his previous years in the 2018 draft class, he had Lamar Jackson at number 1. He had Josh Allen number 2, Baker Mayfield number 3, Sam Darnold number 4. That was looked at the time as an idiotic take. And then fast forward, he was spot on. He was also spot on with Patrick Mahomes. He had Patrick Mahomes as a steal of the draft, and he was right. Does that mean he's right about this list? Absolutely not. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but very interesting to see that he has Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence. What do you think about that, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely surprised me. But like I said earlier in the stream, I think that, nobody get excited that we're going to get Trevor Lawrence now. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is definitely going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar, unfortunately for him. But he will be a Jaguar. And, Zach Wilson gets to come to New York and win a Super Bowl his rookie year. So, it's going to be great.
Yeah, man. I think that you can get behind Zach Wilson coming. And people keep saying Fields or Wilson. Some people have Mac Jones over Fields. Mac Jones is a quarterback that is shooting up draft boards. I don't know why, but I'm not saying I'm doing that. But a lot of people think that Mac Jones is going to be the sleeper of this quarterback draft. And listen, if you go back in time and you look at all of the, quarterback rankings leading up to the drafts, they're never 100% right. There's always a quarterback that slips late that shows up. And you never know who it's going to be. It could be Trey Lance. I'm not saying that Justin Fields is going to be bad and Mac Jones will be better, but you never know. You never know. And I just want to know who it's going to be. Like, I'm scarred with the whole Sam Darnold pick because you guys know me. When we drafted him, I was, a Sam believer, as every Jets fan was when we drafted him initially. And we thought that we got our franchise guy. I feel like we more hoped that we did rather than we think we did. We were hoping that Sam would have a breakout season in year 3 because his rookie season, he showed a lot of promise at the end of the year. His second season, he started off with mono. We're like, what the hell, Sam? How do you have mono? And the first half of the season was detrimental. And then the second half, Sam goes 6-2, and he finished the year off with really good plays, and he improved in every single statistical category in year 2. And then we thought that year 3 would be his breakout season. Man, we were wrong. And it really is interesting because there's still a lot of people out there that really think that Sam Darnold could be a good franchise quarterback. And there's a lot of analytics that back it up. And whether that's Sam needing a new spot to let that happen, which probably is the most likable situation, I feel like Sam needs to go into another environment to have his full potential. He needs coaching. He needs playmakers, and he doesn't have that with the Jets. Well, he has it now because I feel like our coaching staff is way different, but he never had that when he was on the Jets. He got into the league with Todd Bowles, a defensive-minded guy, and Jeremy Bates in his first season. And then his second season, he gets the worst head coach ever. So Sam Darnold just absolutely was a product of Adam Gase's failure, but you cannot make that excuse because Sam definitely needed to show up more because he had some really inexcusable plays. So what's your take on Sam? Do you think that he has a chance to revive his career if he stays with the Jets or if he moves on? Or do you think he's going to be just a below average quarterback for the rest of his life?
I mean, I certainly think that he has the potential to have a great career on another team. I just think that if he were to stay with the Jets, and he doesn't have like a standout, breakout year, then he's gonna be relinquished to a backup quarterback for the rest of his career. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if he's given that opportunity now with the third coaching staff of his career, and believe me, I know the first two coaching staffs were not great whatsoever. I mean, the Adam Gase's staff wasn't even. It's enough. I don't even have to say anything about that. But it's just super unfortunate for Sam, man, because now he's in a position where if he was to be named the starter this year, and now, as unfortunate as the first two regimes were, he can't succeed in his third coaching regime of his career, then it's not going to spell good things for Sam's for his future. So, for Sam, if I was Sam, I'd want to get the hell out. I'd want to go somewhere, maybe like San Francisco or like New Orleans, or take your pick of any other places that need a quarterback right now that really don't have the opportunity to go out there and draft one of these top guys that's coming out of school this year. They're going to be in the market for Sam Darnold, I would say. So I feel like Sam is going to get a good opportunity somewhere else. I hope for the best for Sam. Would I be mad if Sam was named the starter for the Jets week 1? No, I would not. Because it would mean that we could use that second pick elsewhere, or we could trade it back for more picks from Joe Douglas. But you know what, going back to what I said, it would be a huge test, but I would not be mad if he was named the week 1 starter. I just feel like for his sake, he'll have a better opportunity to advance his career somewhere else, just because the pressure's really on this year, with the third different coaching staff that he's worked with. So, for his sake, he should go somewhere else. But I really wouldn't be mad if he was the starter, because I still think he has plenty of potential. Adam Gase was a joke of a head coach. They threw Sam to the Sharks last year. I still think that we can't really analyze a 23-year-old quarterback, given the situations that he's been put in. But like I said, the pressure's just on, man. Regardless of who it was coaching him, it is going to be his third coaching staff potentially. So if he was to be named the starter, the pressure is on. He needs to play well. Otherwise, I feel like he'll just be relinquished to a backup. But if he was to get out of New York, I feel like he would definitely have a golden opportunity to succeed and have a great career. I really do think he's got the potential to have a great career.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think that it's a huge gamble for the Jets to keep Sam. But if you want to go the hypothetical route and say, if the Jets keep Sam Darnold, I'm not saying that's what they should do. But if they decide they do want to keep Sam, then let's think hypothetically. What are they going to do in the draft? They're going to trade that pick at number 2. They're going to trade back. They're going to get a king ransom for that. And then they're going to have even more draft picks, even more than we even have. And Joe Douglas said himself he wants to build through the draft. And if he can have, say we trade back to 8, the Panthers want that. I think the Panthers have the 8th or 7th pick. Say they want that second pick. We trade back, and then we draft a playmaker or an offensive lineman or even Kyle Pitts. I don't think Kyle Pitts at number 2 is realistic, but if we trade back and then target him at 8, maybe, because everyone's saying that he's a generational tight end. He's not a tight end. He's a receiver tight end hybrid. Or we go out and get Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, or we use that pick on a defensive edge rusher or a cornerback, and then we have a lot of more picks because we probably got, we moved back and then we got an extra second, an extra third. You never know what the draft picks could be. I think that's what they have to realize, because that factors into the decision at the quarterback spot. It's either we just stay with what we got. We're never going to have the second overall pick again if we want to be good. So it's either we take their quarterback now or we gamble. I think Sam is tough. I think Sam is this, and that. That's what Joe Douglas and Saleh keep saying about Sam. Then we're going to stick to him, or we're going to build around him and give him the biggest opportunity possible to show what he's worth. But like you said, if they decide to keep Sam and he goes out in year 4 and he stinks it up, his career is basically over. And that will be that's why it's a huge gamble, because if you look at Sam's tape last year, there's way more negative tape than positive tape. And we don't know if it's Adam Gase's fault, or if it's a collective effort of Gase and Sam, or if it's all Sam's fault, it's the offensive line's fault, it's the playmakers around him. We don't know what the hell the reason was behind his downfall, but it was a drastic decrease in terms of Sam Darnold's play. And that's why you need to really, and that's why the Jets are doing everything they need to do, because they need to research every single avenue to upgrade each position. And they think that Sam Darnold might not be the guy, so they might trade him. But at the same time, I don't think it's guaranteed they trade him. So it's crazy. I think the opportunities are endless when it comes to the Jets. What would you do, hypothetically, if the Jets want to keep Sam Darnold and they trade back? Like, who would you target? Say we trade back to 8 and we get multiple more picks. Like, who would you want to target at 8, hypothetically speaking?
I mean, you could definitely sell me on Pitts if he's still available. I like that. I mean, 2, definitely not. But, I mean, I feel like, the small amount of film I've seen of his is nuts. He just looks so big and so fast, and he's just a crazy he's definitely going to be an instant difference maker.
George Kittle team in San Francisco.
Yeah, I'll take yeah, please. And the tight end is a quarterback's best friend, and no one has a bigger question mark surrounding him than Chris Herndon. We don't know what got into that guy's head. I mean, I still think he's a guy with lots of potential, but we just don't know. So we don't know what his future holds. But yeah, Pitts would be awesome. But I would say maybe, I guess, if we get that other pick, I also wouldn't mind like going receiver that high and then going O-line I still want to go O-line with the 23rd. But let's say hypothetically we have that 8th pick from the Carolina Panthers. If one of those big name receivers like a Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith is on the board, that would be sick. And yeah, I would definitely be game for that. Or if an edge rusher is on the board that you really love, that you want to take that early, definitely do that as well, because these are the premier positions that we just have been lacking for a while now, that we need instantly to really to make a difference on this team, especially edge rusher. I feel like we haven't had a dominant edge rusher maybe ever in my lifetime. Like, I don't know. I'm racking through my brain trying to think of it, and I don't know. I mean, I'm only 22 years old, but we need somebody on the edge who's going to consistently get to the quarterback, especially with Saleh coming in as our head coach. He was spoiled with Nick Bosa in San Francisco and other great names on that defensive line. So I feel like that's definitely a position I wouldn't mind going super early in the draft if we were to trade back the 2nd spot. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad with a receiver, with an edge rusher. I think we can go O-line at 23. And I still have hopes of bringing in Joe Thuney. I really do. I envision bringing in Joe Thuney and then drafting another guard. And then we have Mekhi Becton, Thuney, McGovern at center, whoever we draft, and then George Fant at right tackle. And I think that's a pretty solid offensive line, honestly. So so I definitely want to go O-line somewhere in the 1st round. I'm thinking 23 though, but I wouldn't be mad with any of the options that you gave for the 8th pick, man. It would be pretty awesome. I mean, it would mean that we're rolling with Sam though. So
Yeah.
So it would
and
be,
that also means we don't just get the 8th pick. We're going to get probably an extra 2nd and an extra 4th maybe. So we have the 34th pick, and then say we get like whatever their pick is, say 39. And we get, say 79, whatever the hell their picks are. Because when you trade back, you're not just getting the 8th pick, you're getting the 8th pick plus more. So that's the reason why I feel like there's still a chance that they keep Sam, because Joe Douglas being Joe Douglas, I want as many draft picks as possible. I want to build this thing properly through the draft. You know what I mean? So I think we should make a video actually leading up to free agency and stuff, all hypothetical, of what the Jets should do if they keep Sam in the draft, what the Jets should do if they take a quarterback, what the Jets should do if we trade for Deshaun Watson. I feel like we should make a video about that. because there's a lot of research to get into it, the cap space, all this good stuff. It's fun. But it's interesting, man. I feel like there's so many things that they could do and so many different opportunities that the Jets can do. And I saw somebody on Twitter, Dan Orlovsky, whatever you say his last name. I know you're not a fan of his, but he's a big Sam Darnold believer.
I am when he talks up Sam, though. But then sometimes he just makes other claims. I'm just like, Dan Orlovsky, like, what are you saying, dude? But,
yeah, maybe people say that about when he does speak about Sam, but he does bring up a good point. He compared Sam's numbers to Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, and Matt Ryan in their first 38 games to Sam Darnold's. And it really makes you think, like, you know what? Like, he's 23. He went through the rough patches of his career. Is there a bright spot of Sam's life? And he said, like, you know what? All these quarterbacks like Big Ben and Matt Ryan and Drew Brees, they threw a lot of interceptions in college, and it carried over to their first 3 years, and they broke out of it. But you do have to realize Drew Brees, Big Ben, and Matt Ryan, they've all had really good coaches, and they've all had really good systems in place, something that Sam never had. So maybe Sam needs to go out and go to a different organization for that to happen. And listen, wherever Sam goes, I'll be rooting for him because I feel like he was just thrown into a terrible situation with the Jets, and I feel bad for him. He's such a good person. He's a genuine guy that just wanted to be the franchise quarterback. And Jack and I met him ourselves, and I remember telling him, like, listen, Sam, don't let the New York media get to you. Just be yourself, and you'll be a great quarterback. And, you know, obviously he's being himself out there, but Jets fans are very passionate, New York fans in general, and we do not accept anything that's subpar. And that's how we should feel. You know, we should not accept anything that's a little lesser. We should want somebody that's going to take us to the next level. And whether that's Sam or another quarterback, we will truly find out. You know, there's so much that could happen leading up to this draft, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. So what your take on what Dan had to say about that?
I mean, yeah, you just have to realize that, you know, the difference between college football and the pros is like night and day. You know, I don't care how good of a prospect you are coming out of college. You need players around you. You need a coach that is going to properly mentor you. You know, I don't think Sam Darnold has ever even had a real quarterbacks coach throughout his tenure with the Jets. You know, I mean, I don't know who had the position year one, but you know, Dowell Loggins gets brought in for 2 years just to be a waste of space on the sidelines. You know, I mean, it's just like you couldn't have thrown this guy into a worse scenario. And it, you know, it really does make you wonder because, you know, for Sam's sake, going back to the point I made before, now it's crunch time. It's do or die. You know, if he doesn't play well this year, no matter what team he's on, you know, he's going to have a big question mark on him for the rest of his, you know, time in this league, whether he is worthy of being a starting quarterback. I think he's 100% a starting quarterback in this league. You know, you can't really overstate how awful the Adam Gase years were. I mean, it was the worst pro football. I mean, this year that we all just, you know, somehow made it through without, you know, dying because of the Jets. I don't know if anybody watches Curb Your Enthusiasm, but they literally, Larry David literally wrote an episode where somebody died because of the Jets. The Jets killed him. And you know what? The Jets have not killed me. My body still lives, but they've almost killed our souls. You know what I'm saying? Through just years and years of misery. And they're killing Sam Darnold. They've already killed Sam Darnold because, you know, he comes out of college. He's you know, the youngest starting quarterback in NFL history. He's like 21 years old. Can you imagine being 21 years old? It's your first year of legally even being able to drink alcohol. And you're suiting up to play not just for any NFL team, but for the New York Jets. You know, one of the biggest markets in the entire world is, you know, New York sports. So it's just the amount of pressure that was put on him mixed with the lack of competency from the organization in how to build around a young quarterback really doomed Sam. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and leave Sam blameless. Obviously, you know, he makes bonehead mistakes that leave you scratching your head. And, you know, so a lot of people might say that he makes too many of those for them to be comfortable with them with moving forward with Sam, which I get. I mean, that's justified. But, you know, you listen to what Dan Orlovsky said, and, you know, throughout their first 38 games, which is how many games Sam Darnold has played in his career, he's right on pace turnover-wise as Big Ben, as Drew Brees and as Matt Ryan. You know, Matt Ryan's a great player, been to a Super Bowl, been consistent throughout his career.
MVP.
And Drew Brees, yeah, MVP. And Drew Brees and Big Ben are both, you know, going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. So, you know, I just don't see how anybody can write off Sam as being trash or whatever you want to call him. Maybe he doesn't have a future with the Jets, but he certainly has a future as a starting quarterback in this league. I mean, look at any of his highlights, and, you know, if Mahomes had done the same thing, it would still be circulating on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I really think the sky's the limit for Sam. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do. You know, keeping Sam would give Joe Douglas even more opportunities to really build this team. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very, very interesting. Would I be mad if Sam was the guy week 1? Not at all. Absolutely not.
I mean, you can't stress enough how much of an impact coaches have on players and the system in place. And we just haven't seen it in the past couple of years. And we're hopeful that we actually have a good coaching staff in place with Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur and Ulbrich and all these guys. And we're hoping that whoever's our quarterback, whoever's our defensive lineman, whoever is everybody throughout the entire roster, good coaches takes talent to another level. Or let me reword that. Great coaches takes lesser talent to another level. And that's what this Jets team needs to do. And that's what we can expect. Even before I see who we sign in free agency, and even before I see who we draft in the draft or who's our quarterback, what I'm looking for in 2021 for the New York Jets is this: an improved culture, something that we can say like, okay, this coaching staff is the real deal. When it's all said and done, and all 16 games, or actually 17 games, I'm pretty sure they have extra games next year. I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on it. But when it's all said and done and the season's over, whether we make the playoffs or not, which I don't think we're going to make the playoffs, but you never know, the thing that we need to take from it is we all should be sold on the coaching staff. We should all be like, yes, you know what? We showed improvement. Our young guys developed. Mekhi Becton proved to be a durable left tackle. That's our franchise left tackle for the future. Our rookie draft class last year in their sophomore season, they all showed signs of growth. We showed a team that dealt with adversity, because injuries are a part of the game. It's going to happen naturally. We were a team that had injuries at this position, and players stepped up and he had that next man up mentality. We need to be a team that has that all gas, no break mentality that he keeps saying, that we upset some teams. We verse a team that is a way better squad than us, but we somehow upset them. We go out there and we have the Jets are on the map. And I know that not everybody are basketball fans or Knicks fans, but I do want to connect it to the New York Knicks, because the New York Knicks are right now, they have a brand new head coach in Tom Thibodeau. And this is his first year as their head coach. The New York Knicks are not a talented roster. And what Tom Thibodeau is doing with this roster is absolutely insane. They are the playoff team in the Eastern Conference right now. And that's the similar type of season I want from the Jets of what the Knicks are doing. Take a team that's less talented and take them to another level. That's what a great coaching staff can do. Will it happen? We're hopeful. Tom Thibodeau is a very well-known coach. He's been it and done there, took teams to the playoffs. Robert Saleh, this is his rookie season as the head coach, so we cannot expect him to take it to the playoffs right away, but he needs to really implement a new system and just like rebrand the Jets. So we need to have a brand new energy. We need to have a brand new feel where people are looking on the outside in of the Jets like, wow, the Jets are not like a joke. They're actually a team where you see them on the schedule like, damn, that's a tough defense. Like, I don't want to go up against the Jets at home, or damn, that's an explosive offense, or, you know, the Jets are not going to be a team on the schedule that we just like want to run over because they're that terrible. Like, that's what this 2021 season should be about. This 2021 season should not be about playoffs or Super Bowl. Like, that's not realistic. We need to be a team that shows signs of improvement, shows signs of this coaching staff is headed in the right direction, and signs that Joe Douglas is hitting on these draft picks, especially last year, because we cannot expect the rookies from this year's draft class that we haven't seen yet to go off, but we should expect the rookies like Denzel Mims, Bryce Hall, Mekhi Becton, LaMichael Pirine, and those guys to have a big season. Because if you really want to build through the draft, we need to see the guys come to fruition. And I feel like guys that are steals of the draft or really good draft picks, they start performing at a high level in year 2. That's the nature of it. Yes, sometimes there's sophomore slumps, but I'm expecting the Jets to have a young, energetic team that will shock a lot of people next year. And that's before I see free agents come to the Jets, and that's before I see who we draft. So it's going to be interesting. What is your expectations for the Jets, and how do you what will make you feel happy at the end of the Jets season next year? Like, what type of things are you looking for when you can have a smile on your face, the season's over, and you can be happy and content with what the New York Jets did instead of absolutely disgraced like it was last year?
I mean, that's
a
a tough
question.
I was gonna say it's a loaded question for sure. I don't know. I guess I'll just start. Numbers wise, I would expect to return to competent football. I think that my goal this year would be, and this might even be high for some people, but I want to at least go 500 this year. I'm tired of losing. I think it's doable. Everybody has high hopes for Robert Saleh, so let's see it. I mean, we all love the guy, but we can't baby him, and we can't we still got to hold people accountable. So if the Jets come out and they look like the same old Jets, I'm gonna cry my eyes out. I'm gonna be upset. I'm expecting. I mean, even Woody Johnson hired some intern to run his Twitter account now. Even Woody finally gives a crap about his own team. So it's it just seems like the winds are shifting and the culture is changing here in New York finally. So if we don't win games, I'm going to be very upset. So I think 500 is a reasonable goal. Some people might say it's even too high of a goal based on what we did last year, but I think 500 is certainly reasonable. It's pretty sad that we even have to say that. That's what we're hoping for as our our high hopes. But I think that Joe Douglas is gonna, with his second draft, I just think he's gonna continue to build depth on this team. That's gonna help this team win games, and I just think we're gonna have to get it done. And it's getting to the point now where I know it's only Salah's first year as the head coach, but now it's going to be Joe Douglas's second offseason as the Jets general manager. So now we need to start seeing some tangible results from some moves that he's made. And, we're already seeing, we already think Mekhi Becton's a home run. We all love Denzel Mims. But, with everything that's going on in this offseason and with, how absolutely nuts we are as a fan base, we're expecting winning football this year, or at least 500 football. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't really know what else to say.
And that's before we know who our quarterback is.
Exactly.
I think we can have a way more realistic opinion on what we can expect this season after free agency in the draft, because right now there's holes all over this roster that will be filled via free agency and the draft and trades. And it's going to be crazy. I think that it's going to be a lot of factors will go into the season of being success. One thing I do want to see is being competitive within the division against our division rivals, the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and the New England Patriots. Maybe the big reason is because I'm a part of the AFC East roundtable, so I kind of am more in tune with the rivalry. But definitely would love to split all three of those games and go 3-3, maybe sweep one of them. But as of right now, all three of those teams are better than us. Maybe we can even say the Patriots. I mean, we're the worst team in the division last year, so we cannot even say we're the best team. We're not the worst team in the division. As we speak right now, we're the fourth best team in the AFC East. So I want to be competitive, and I want the AFC East to look at the Jets in particular and say they're a team on the rise, and they're not the same old Jets. I don't think I'm scared of them this year, but I think after the season's over, I want people in the NFL and I want teams around the league, and especially teams within the AFC East, to look at the Jets and say they're a team I'm worried about in the next couple of years. That's what we should expect, and that's what we should demand and want for the season. That's a successful year. When there's other people around the NFL that's not Jets fans that look at New York and see the potential of this team. And that's a good thing if that happens. Will it happen? Who the hell knows? It could go all the way down south and be the same old Jets like Jack said, which would be an absolute nightmare. But this is all speculation, guys. We don't know what the hell is going to happen. We don't know anything up until this point. But if you guys enjoy the stream, make sure you thumbs up the stream because Jack and I are just rambling off right now. We got the first donation of the stream. Thank you so much, Corey. Appreciate that $5 dono. Hype in the chat for Corey. Hype in the chat for Corey. Yo, Joe Douglas played it real smooth by not committing to Sam because now the other teams have no idea what we are going to do. He is playing this beautifully. You are correct, Corey. Joe Douglas is a master when it comes to press conferences. He hypes people up that he wants to trade to boost their trade value. And I think that's exactly what he did with Sam. I could agree. I think that he did not commit to anything, and he left the doors wide open of what he's going to do. I think that Sam is 100% on the trade block. I do think that the Jets do not have a decision made within the closed doors at One Jets Drive. I think they're still, talking about. I think there's a lot of disagreement. Yeah, I think in that front office with Rex Hogan and Jaime and the Johnsons and Douglas and Saleh and LaFleur and all these coaching staffs, I guarantee they all have different opinions. I guarantee one guy's like, hey, I think we should keep Sam. Another guy's like, hey, I think we should draft Zach Wilson. And then Woody Johnson's like, go get Deshaun Watson because I want, jersey sales to go up and I want to make more money. But they're all butting heads. They're all don't know what the hell is going to happen, and they all need to collectively think of a decision. And the final say is in Joe Douglas's hands. So what do you think Joe Douglas about this say that he's playing the whole thing beautifully in terms of keeping other teams guessing?
I mean, yeah, he's just doing his job. That's the job of a general manager, he's not gonna put it out there like saying, yes, we're gonna keep Sam or yes, we're gonna trade Sam. That's just not how you go about things, You slowly and silently build the value of a player by being vague about what you're gonna do with him. He's never gonna come on and say, well, yeah, Sam has really regressed. No, he's gonna talk up Sam and talk about how tough he is and how he can make every throw and how he can make it, and how he's mobile and can make throws on the run. He's gonna touch all of his bases and he's just gonna do his job. That's his job as a general manager. I always use this term to leave no stone unturned and to, evaluate every option and every prospect and everything. So, yeah, I mean, he's just doing his job, man.
Yeah, man, it's exactly what Joe Douglas is going to continue to do. And I think every Jets fan is very comfortable with Joe Douglas. This is going to be a second offseason as the Jets GM. It's crazy because Joe Douglas has technically been the GM for 3 years, but this will be a second offseason going through free agency and the draft because the Jets fired McCagnon after the free agency and draft in 2019, and then they hired Douglas in May, which is just still, I think that's a big reason why this team is set back a couple more years. If we let Douglas take over the draft and the free agency, we would not have Le'Veon, we would not have CJ, but that's something we can discuss at another time. I also want to talk about Robert Saleh said that he talked to CJ Mosley. So what's your thoughts on CJ Mosley, and do you expect him to do anything this year? Do you expect him to get on the field? I mean, listen, CJ Mosley was brought here to be our franchise middle linebacker, and we paid him a hell of a lot of money that Joe Douglas did not do himself. I think that this defense needs a leader like CJ, and we saw what the impact CJ has on this team when he's healthy. Unfortunately, he's only for 3 quarters, but man, oh man, looking back on that opening day, 2019 day against the Buffalo Bills at MetLife Stadium, a pick 6, a fumble recovery, and a pass deflection in the end zone in 3 quarters. That is dominant football. Will he ever get back to those ways? Because one, he's been not playing for 2 years. Is he there mentally? Did he lose confidence in himself? Did he lose confidence in his body? Is he even in good shape? Is he too old because he lost a step? I feel like today's NFL, you need speed at that middle linebacker position, which is why I don't feel comfortable with CJ right now because I don't know if he still has speed after being that old. What do you say about that, Jack?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a question that's been on my mind. But we all know the impact he can have when he's healthy. He looked like, the best defensive player in the entire league when he was healthy. So we'll see if he's, if he can come back at full strength or if he's just a shell of his former self. I mean, I don't really know, man. It's basically been two full seasons that he hasn't played in the NFL. And I know you're currently looking up if Deshaun Watson went to Miami or not.
I know he didn't.
Because somebody put it in the chat.
TD Finstock was live all day saying, Deshaun going to be in Miami. That's why all Dolphins fans think it's happening. Shout out to Miami Dolphins fans, though.
Shout out.
You guys are not. You guys do not have him just yet, but you guys are definitely in a good position to land him.
Which is terrible for us.
Yeah, he's not a Dolphin. Just want to make sure that was not true. I appreciate the troll, though. I knew you were wrong, but I definitely want to double check.
That would suck, man.
Yeah, you're wrong. At
that
least
would really suck.
I think.
Somebody said Dak to the Jets. Nah, I love Dak, though. I really hope him and Dallas work something out.
Fins up. Appreciate the love, brother. Appreciate the love. I love all Miami Dolphins fans, subscribers. You guys are supporting me all throughout my dark days, and Buffalo Bills fans and New England Patriots fans, everybody that supports Jets Media from the AFC East Roundtable. I appreciate all you guys. It's all love for the rivals. Not a fan of the Dolphins, but I'm a fan of the Dolphins fans because you guys show me a lot of love. You guys are awesome. Matt Ice to the Jets.
Saying Matty Ice to the Jets.
That's interesting. See, I don't want to go that route. I don't want to go old veteran. If we move on from Sam, we need to go younger or go for the stars in terms of Deshaun. Yeah, man. What else should we talk about? Anybody else in the chat want to ask us anything? We got around 59 likes with 85 people watching. If you guys did not hit that like button, if you guys are enjoying today's stream with Jack and I, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It really helps out people finding the stream on YouTube. So if you guys can, smash that like button. And if you do so, let me know in the chat and I'll give you a shout out. Greatly appreciate it. Love going live with you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Texans podcasters are delusional. You should see the crazy leverage they think they have. Yeah, man. Deshaun openly says, I am not playing with you guys. I will sit out before I play with you guys. So
that's insane, man. I don't know what the hell happened down there, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Are you going to go to any Knicks games? Yo, Jack, I actually went to a Knicks game, the first game against the Warriors, and I made a whole vlog on it on my Knicks media channel. So if you want to see the video I created about me going to Madison Square Garden, check out Knicks media. I made a whole video about my experience. I've recorded some footage at the Garden, so check it out. Richie deleted the comment. I didn't delete anything. What did I delete? I actually don't have any moderators on this chat. Any mods?
We got Lord Supreme who said he hit the like button. Good looks, buddy. We appreciate that.
Thanks, Lord Supreme. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate the support as always.
King J says Deshaun to the Jets. That's more like it.
Let's go, King J. This is my loyal supporter on all of my channels. King J is the man. Shout out to King J.
Shout out.
Make sure you go to the Knicks versus Lakers game in the finals. You already know. I got to save up money now because if the Knicks ever go to the finals, it will cost $3,000 for a ticket.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got a few $1,000s to go to one basketball game.
I'll start saving now for that.
Insane, man.
But yeah.
I've never even been to a game at MSG, guys. I've been to many, many concerts there, but I've never been to a Knicks game or a Rangers game for that matter. Dying to get to a Knicks game, man. Dying to get to a Knicks game.
Yeah, it sucks because now that they're good and now that there's only 10% people allowed, it's so hard to get tickets.
James Dolan's going to go, hey, ticket prices.
Yeah, and they're all just reselled. You know, they're all people getting it for retail and putting it on StubHub, and that's why they're ridiculous because people want profit.
It's upsetting.
It is upsetting, but we'll find out.
They're so limited. They're probably hard to get. Even with the price, they're probably so in demand because nobody's been able to go to a game for like a year.
I know. That's why I'm excited for baseball season because those tickets are $7 all the way up top, or you can get like tickets for like $50 for really good seats, and it's going to be fun. But more importantly, we can go to Jets games finally next year. That's going to be fun.
I cannot wait to go to MetLife. I'm so
Are you down
excited.
to go to opening day?
I'm down, yeah, for sure. I went to opening day last year.
2 years ago.
or the year before that. Yeah, I always forget.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
fans were in the stadium last year,
Correct.
unfortunately.
Correct. But yeah, I'm also very excited to get back to Citi Field, man. A little train ride.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Hold on one sec. Jack, take over for a sec. Answer the chat.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Oh wow, I'm all big on the screen now. All right. Yeah, isn't it crazy how expensive Manhattan is? Yeah, for sure, man. It's crazy. I was born in Manhattan, but I've lived out on Long Island pretty much all my life. I only lived there for like the first 2 years of my life. So I don't really have many memories of it, obviously. But yeah, hit me up with some questions. Otherwise I'll just keep rambling on the live stream. Let me scroll up a little bit and see if I could answer anything here. Sewell and Slater with Becton would cost a moving to get him, but Sam would be crazy good. Yeah, well, he's just basically saying beef up the O-line by getting Sewell or Slater, and then with Becton, that would be a very good offensive line protection for Sam, but that would mean keeping Sam. So yeah, that's interesting. I wish I could pull the comments on the screen for you guys, but only Richie has that magic power on his computer. But yeah, let's just get into some more stuff. Who do you think you're drafting? Second pick in our most recent mock draft, we have the Jets taking Zach Wilson. And with the 23rd pick, we have them taking Elijah Vera Tucker, who is a guard out of USC. And I'd be very happy with both those picks, honestly. Yeah. Oh, there he is. What's up, brother? I think you're muted. Can't hear you.
I was muted.
Oh,
Thanks.
there he is.
What are we talking about?
Just answered a question, and I finished it literally as soon as you came on. So you once again have the floor.
Corey with another $5 dono. Thank you so much, Corey. Appreciate you, bro. Very generous. How much would you pay for Jets tickets to sit somewhere decent if you were coming from out of town? Well, tickets are going to be a little more expensive just because they're limited and only 15% of people are allowed in the stadium. You could probably get, I don't even know. I don't know how to answer this question because I don't know how it's going to work this year with COVID and the ticket availability and where you can sit and how scattered it's going to be, the limit.
Me personally, I feel like I don't really enjoy. I mean, I'm like 6'3". I'm a very tall guy, so it's not a problem for me. But I don't really enjoy watching a football game from the lower level. As weird as people would think that is, I actually like to have more of a bird's eye view. So I actually prefer like the 200 or even 300 level sections, which are obviously cheaper than down towards the field. And I like sitting in the end zone as well because you can really, I know when the ball's on the other side of the field, it's a little tough, but you can just really see how all the plays are running and you can see the routes so clearly that the receivers are running from a little higher up. So I feel like don't even break your bank and pay big money for like a 100 level ticket. Because I actually prefer watching a football game from higher up, but that's just me. I don't know about you guys. I think 200 level is the wave.
Yeah, the closest I ever got to a football game was when I went to the Jets-Bills game in Buffalo. We got front row seats, and they were mad cheap. That was late in the season. That was Sam's rookie season. The game where Sam had that crazy touchdown. That's like his best highlight of his career so far, when he rolled all the way to his right, rolled all the way back to his left, and then found Robbie in the end zone. I was there for that, and I was on, front row level 100, and that was pretty dope. But those tickets would be way more money. And that was also before the Bills were good. So that's why they were that cheap. But when it comes to the Jets, I think I can sit anywhere. But it's tough. I've sat behind the end zone. I've sat up top. I haven't really sat at the 100 sections at MetLife because they're too much. The only time I really have is preseason, to be honest. But I think it'll be dope. I think it's going to be fun because it's going to be a very scattered out crowd at the Jets games, but it's still going to be loud. We're still going to get those Jets,
I didn't
Jets.
even think about. That's actually beautiful And obviously, I wish that everybody could come to the games, but like, if we can get to a game and there's only like a few thousand people there, no traffic getting out of the stadium, like because it literally from where me and Rich lives, like it's only like probably like an hour and change away, probably like an hour 15 with like no traffic, I'd say, or with limited traffic, because you're never gonna have no traffic driving through the 5 boroughs of New York City. But like it can literally take 3 hours, 3.5 hours to get from North Jersey to like a half hour outside of New York City with all the traffic you experience after a Jets game. And especially after a loss, there's nothing more miserable than traveling home after watching a terrible loss 3 hours, 3.5 hours in traffic going back to New York from Jersey. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Let's get a Jet Stadium in New York, man.
Oh my God.
It's so upsetting. We had an opportunity. There was, I think, the Hudson Yards or whatever it's called in Manhattan. They had the opportunity and New Yorkers vetoed it. They were going to build a Jet Stadium in Manhattan. Like, come on, man.
That would have been
It's once a year. I mean, it's one season a year, and it's once a week, and not even every single week.
And it's not even 8 games.
It's 8 games, and it's 8 times in 52 weeks. Like, come on, New Yorkers. Like, the Garden brings in a lot of traffic. Like, I understand there'll be a lot of other events there, but I'm still upset that the Jets did not be able to build a stadium in Manhattan because that would have been sick. The spot for it would have been on the water. It would have been perfect.
Oh, man.
I'm so upset.
Cool. Would have been so cool. And then all these guys could get nice apartments in Manhattan instead of having to live in like North Jersey somewhere. Like nobody wants to live in North Jersey. Sorry, shout out to all the Jersey Jet fans. I know there's plenty of you, but like North Jersey, like what's up? What's going on in North Jersey? Come on over to New York. Come on over to Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. Like, why couldn't that have happened? Like you said, it's literally like 8 days a year out of 365. 8 days a year. Like I don't know. They should have made that happen, man. Can't believe that didn't go through. Can you imagine that? Just one train and maybe a cab instead of a 3+ hour journey. Oh man.
I know. I love that I can just hop on the LIRR and just go right to the Garden. You walk into Penn Station, and it's brand new now. You should see the new Penn Station. It blew my mind. It's like you're in another universe. It is the future. It's like ridiculous, to be honest. I was like, whoa. Like, just wait till you get back into that new Penn Station because it's remarkable. But then the Garden's on top of you. Like, it's sick. Like, I love it. I wish that was the case with Jets games. Nope.
Tough, man. You got to hop on the LIRR, and then you got to hop on the New Jersey Transit, which was a nightmare.
You have to switch. You have to like go 3 different times. You have to switch you go to Penn Station, and then you get on the New Jersey Transit, and then you get on, and then you have to transfer again. Yeah, it's just like, yo, let me watch my Jets lose.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
right?
tough because if you're gonna be a responsible person and you're gonna consume a bit of alcohol, which I like to do at Jets games, I'm obviously not gonna drive to MetLife. So I'm going to take the train, and then, it's 3 trains, and it's just a nightmare. And, obviously it's the Jets, so we lose almost every time. And like, it's just never fun on the way home, but it's different now, everyone. It's different. Times are changing, and we're good now. Super Bowl 2021, 2022, actually.
We are good. 2022. This is honestly the longest that I've been live on this channel in a long time.
Yeah.
The last time I was live for this long was during games.
We're just BSing right now. I mean, we really appreciate you guys just hanging out while we literally just talk about nothing.
Yeah, we're talking. We can sit back and relax. Hope you guys are enjoying your, what is it, Wednesday?
Where's everybody located in the world? I'm curious. Just shout out where you live real quick in the chat. I'm curious.
It's crazy. If I asked that same question to my subscribers on Knicks Media, everybody's from out of the country. Not everybody, but like, it's insane. Australia,
the Knicks
Africa.
The Knicks are one of those teams that have a crazy international
Brazil.
Market.
Every country. I remember I asked it once. I'm just like reading these countries. All right, we got Long Island. Shout out to LA. We got Memphis, Idaho, LA, New Rochelle, New York, the Netherlands. There we go.
The Netherlands.
Shout out to the
Welcome, man.
Netherlands.
Welcome. Shout out.
Ireland. We got some
Ireland.
global.
Shout out, man.
I'm saying.
Across the Atlantic, people showing love. We got some Brooklyn. We got some Jersey guys, of course. That you guys.
New
are
Jersey.
probably
Shout
mad
out
at
to
me now.
Logan.
Probably mad at me now because I just trashed your home state. Sorry about that. New Rochelle,
North America,
New York.
yo. Shout out to North America.
Yeah, shout out to North America, man. Pretty fire continent. North America is easily a top 7 continent, for sure. You
Pennsylvania.
there's 7 continents.
And now I don't know if I can trust these guys. Now I feel like they're saying these random places.
Now they're just saying random stuff. Boris Gidikov from Bulgaria. What's up, Boris?
That's awesome.
That is very awesome.
So we do got global Jets fans.
What language do they speak in Bulgaria? Very curious. I'm actually currently learning Spanish. I tried to learn Portuguese, but it's extremely hard. There's so many pronunciations that I just can't nail in my head. So I'm on the Duolingo app. I'm learning Spanish, and I'm gonna go for it, man. There's a lot of Spanish speaking people where I live, and I'm trying to communicate, with some more people and just learn about other cultures and stuff. I think it's very cool.
I just zoomed in on my camera. It looks pretty wild.
Yeah, you did do that. I noticed.
Maybe let us zoom out.
Yo, I was actually
Yeah.
I was at the park today. There's this park near where me and Richie live. It's actually kind of gnarly because it's basically this like walking trail that's like on top of like a big garbage heap. It's like at a dump, but like at the top of the dump, there's like this walking trail. It's actually kind of nice. And they have these goats. They have these like they're called Nigerian dwarf goats. And whenever me and Richie are there together, we weren't there today, but we're like, oh, what's up? We're chilling with like 15 different LeBron Jameses right now. So I went to the park this morning and I said, what's up to a few LeBrons. And
you're going to spark a big debate.
There was a Sam Darnold in the corner. Like, yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. So the guys, Boris speaks Bulgarian, so they have their own language. That's sick.
Yeah. I'm curious, Boris, do you guys also speak Russian in Bulgaria? Is Bulgaria like a former Russian republic? I'm not sure about the history.
Well, he says it's similar to Russian.
Yeah, because a lot of countries over there in Eastern Europe also speak Russian because the Soviet Union had like a massive influence. Just injecting a little world history into the live stream for you guys. So yeah. Boris Gidikov. That is an epic name. I love it. Corey says, I'm one of maybe 3 Jets fans in the city. I wear Jets sweatsuits all weekend. People look at me like I'm crazy. They love my outfits, though. Shout out to you, Corey, for repping the squad.
For sure, man.
It's not easy to do after last year, man. But we get it done. I still wear my Jets jacket and one of my Jets beanies all the time. Almost every day, honestly.
I never get the people that are like, yo, you're a Jets fan? Like, how are you a Jets fan? They suck. Well, yo, you're a Knicks fan? How are you a Knicks fan? Yo, they suck. There's something called being loyal.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know if you guys, I know not everyone's Knicks fans here, but the biggest Knicks YouTuber, Knicks Fan TV, he's like the biggest Knicks YouTuber out there. He had an one-on-one interview. He went on the Max Kellerman show, and it was awesome because Max Kellerman was a former Knicks fan growing up, and he just stopped being a Knicks fan because they suck. And KP is his name from Knicks Fan TV, and he was just roasting Max, and it was so funny. And Max is like, how are you a Knicks fan? Like this, and this reasons, Dolan this. He's like, what kind of pride do you have? Like, what kind of, like how can you just give up? And he was just roasting him, and it's like going viral over the place. It went on ESPN. Shout out to KP from Knicks Fan TV. He's the GOAT, but that was so great.
That is awesome, man. I mean, yeah, you can't abandon your squad. You can't do it. I mean, I know a lot of us are probably the same. A lot of you guys are probably the same way. I was just born into this Jets fandom. You know, my father's a diehard Jets fan, so so am I, and my children will be, and that's just how it goes, man. We're just stuck with this for life. We've we've seen some good times, we've seen a lot of bad times, but that's just how it is being a sports fan, man. Where it's it's a it's like one giant oxymoron being a passionate sports fan like we are, because we're so knowledgeable about our team and we're so passionate about our team, but at the end of the day we're just fans and we're absolutely powerless over what actually happens within the organization.
We
So it's
are.
like we give so much of our heart and soul to like a team and have no, it's not like it's not like we go to the Jets annual fan meeting and we all get to give our say. It's
Imagine.
it's not like that. So yeah, imagine if they treated it like a publicly traded company and they had like a shareholders meeting but for Jets fans.
That would be sick.
We all got like 60 seconds to just give our say, just thousands of people.
Xavier says it feels like I'm the only Jets fan in LA. You're not, Xavier. My uncle, he lives in Los Angeles and he is a Jets fan as well as a Knicks and a Mets, basically the same as me. So shout out to Uncle Michael.
And you know what? I bet you LA is one of those places like Florida. There's like plenty of people from New York and LA. So I bet you if you do some looking around, you'll find a few Jets fans out in LA for sure.
I mean, look at Edward, man. Eddie, been a Jets fan for 51 seasons.
Shout out, Ed.
That's loyalty.
Shout out to you, man.
They will win again in your life, I promise.
They will. They will.
I always say, I'm like, yo, all these, old school Jets fans and old school Knicks fans, like, oh, you missed the 90s Knicks, or oh, you missed the Joe Namath days with the Jets. Like, let's say like in 30 years, oh, you missed the 2020s with the Jets. You missed the 2020s with the Knicks. Like, I'm down for this decade to be ours. I'm so sick of being like, oh, you missed that era. Like, let me witness an era for once.
Yeah.
The 2010s, absolutely atrocious for all my sports teams. Honestly, all of New York sports. I don't think in this decade, nobody won a championship, right? Yankees didn't.
New York sports have been
The Giants, they won what, 2008?
Yeah, that was before 2010.
All right, so done. No New York team. So the New York sports did nothing in the 10s. The New York Mets.
The beginning of the decade, 2010, the New York Jets went to the AFC Chip.
The only teams that sniffed the championship were the Mets in the World Series 2015. And didn't the Rangers make this cup and lose? I think so. I'm not a hockey guy, so
I don't know. I think they went deep in the playoffs.
I could be totally wrong.
Now, you know what? We're not hockey guys, but I do know that the Islanders are good now as well.
Yeah, the Islanders are really good. The Giants did win in 2011. Damn it.
Rich, do you know if the Islanders are – I know that are they planning on playing at Nassau Coliseum ever again? Or are they just –
I think they're a once in a while, but they're building a brand new stadium by the horse track in Queens. What's that called?
Oh, Belmont?
Belmont, yeah. I think that's where they're building their permanent place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We live literally 5 minutes away from the old Coliseum.
Yeah, where the Islanders used to play. I've seen a bunch of concerts there as well.
Yeah, Jack and I are not hockey guys, so don't quote us on any hockey stuff.
You know what? Like, I don't like go out of my way and watch it, but like I have one buddy who likes hockey, and I find myself at his house a lot, and whenever it's on the TV, I love it. It's super fast paced, and somebody's always getting clocked, and the announcer's going crazy. I don't know if you can hear that. I think my answering machine just made a noise. I'm sorry, but
No, I didn't hear it.
But yeah, especially playoff hockey is just electric. I kind of wish I liked hockey, but I just didn't grow up liking hockey. I just don't know anything about the sport.
Yeah, pretty much same with me. I'm so invested in my other three teams where it's like, all right, like whatever. Yeah, but I get all the updates because my uncle is a diehard Islanders fan, and he keeps texting me recently because the Knicks and Islanders play on back-to-back days sometimes, and they both win. And he's like, he's a big Knicks fan as well. He's like, awesome. Islanders and Knicks winning the same night. Let's do it. But he's also a Giants fan, so sorry, Uncle Vin.
My relationship with just being a sports fan, I feel like is like, I don't know, because like I feel like maybe a lot of people have their one sport that they're into, but I also feel like a lot of people that I know, at least throughout my life, that are like sports fans are usually, at least baseball, basketball, football. And I like basketball. I love the Knicks. But I'll never be as passionate about any other sport as I have been in my life about football. So pretty much like I'm only really like super, super into sports like during football season. But I've always been like, like I kind of want, like I wish I was like more passionate about the Mets, or about any baseball team for that matter, just because like they're constantly playing games and there's just always a game to watch, like hockey as well, basketball as well. There's like always a game to watch, and that's just not the case for like most of the year as a football fan. So you know, it's just a weird relationship, only really loving football.
Yeah, I
But
feel you, man.
hopefully New York sports rises back to the top soon, because I'm down to get to Citi Field. I'm down to get to MSG.
Yeah, in April when baseball starts, like the Mets literally play every day, and the Yankees
Yeah.
play every day. Like they go 9 games in a row, and then they have an off day, and then 10 more games in a row. Like it's
Yeah.
it's an amazing time. And
Yeah.
our birthdays are coming up. April 1st is my birthday. April 2nd is Jack's birthday.
Yeah.
I always love my birthday because, and guess when the first game of the New York Mets season is this year? April 1st on
go.
ESPN. So it's going to be dope. We're both turning 23. So if you guys don't wish us happy birthday on April 1st and April 2nd, you guys aren't loyal. I'm just kidding. I don't expect that. But
Put it in your calendars now.
yeah, we'll go live on April 1st at midnight, and then right when it hits your birthday, we can wish you a happy birthday. But yeah, man, it's exciting time. I feel like New York sports are on the rise. Everybody's teams are looking good, to be honest. Whether that's the Knicks and the Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are, a championship contending team. The New York Knicks are exceeding everyone's expectations. The New York Giants, they're a little further ahead in their rebuild culture changing than the Jets. At least the Giants fans hope, but I think that they're higher right with Joe Judge. Baseball, the Mets are looking good with their new ownership. The Yankees are the Yankees. They're always competitive every year. The Islanders are a very good team in the NHL, and the Rangers are a young team. So New York sports are trending upward.
For sure. It's an upwards trend. It's a slow process. I mean, everybody's expecting the Mets to be like championship contenders this year, though.
I hate that, man. I honestly don't like it. I'm used to being the underdog. Like MLB's ranking them 5th in the whole league. Like, yo, like nah, like chill. Like I don't want these expectations.
That's
I don't
tough, man.
I don't like it.
It is.
Shout out to Ryan in the chat, but I don't like it. I'm used to the Mets being slept on. They're choosing the Mets to win the division, and the division the Mets are in are easily the hardest division in the entire baseball. The NL East is stacked. Like they could easily go 4th, and they have them winning the division, and they haven't won a division since 2015. So I don't know why they're projecting them so high, and it gets me worried. And that's crazy too, because I know we're getting off on a tangent about baseball. I hope you guys are baseball fans, but like the Mets missed out on all the big ticket free agents that everyone thought they would get, and they're still saying the Mets are going to be top 5 in the league. That tells you something about the Mets, I guess. But we'll see, man.
Let's see it. I'm down. I know absolutely nothing about the sport of baseball. Like like nothing. Like I tuned into one of Richie's Mets streams one day just to see if I could have any idea of what they were talking about, and they might as well have been speaking, Mandarin Chinese. Like I had like no idea. It was I didn't know what the hell you guys are talking about. Like what? What's going on?
It's all good. When we're at Mets games and we watch Pete Alonso hit nukes and beat the Yankees in Subway Series, we'll be fire. Yeah, that's right. I said that, Yankees fans in the chat. What? What are you going to say? I'm just kidding. Don't ridicule me. Yes, the Yankees, 27 rings. Nice.
Pete Alonso bounce back year coming at us.
Jacob deGrom, greatest pitcher in baseball. All right. Let's get off baseball talk, because I don't think people want to hear this, and I don't think Jack wants to continue to talk about it either. I mean, we're running out of things.
You're just talking out of my butt when it comes to baseball. Absolutely nothing.
Literally. Any Mets fans that are in the chat, though, and don't know, I do have a Mets channel, Mets Media, posted my recap of their spring training game yesterday. The Mets played another spring training game today, but it was not televised, so I'm not going to make a video about it. But yeah, check me out over on Mets Media if you guys are Mets fans. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. We've been live for 100 minutes. That's an hour and 40 minutes. So
It is an hour and 40 minutes.
So yeah, I feel
What's everybody gonna eat for dinner tonight? I'm making some cauliflower for my father. My dad's trying to go vegan. I'm trying to do it with him, but can't stop eating chicken or fish. No red meat though. It's tough, man.
Oh man,
I know you're on the vegetable wave, Rich.
For sure. Tonight's shrimp. Facts.
Very nice.
I think my dog is barking to let her out. So I think we're going to end the stream here. It was a very long and energetic and Jets-filled stream. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you guys were here from the start and watched all the way through, you are literally a goat. Like, I've never seen more of a goat. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the stream and you guys did not thumbs it up, please make sure you do so, because we got a lot of stuff. If you guys want us to go live more often where Jack and I just chat like this, let us know, because we're bored and sometimes we don't have a lot of stuff to do. So we say, hey, let's go and just go live and talk. Now everyone's saying don't end. Maybe we don't want to go anywhere. What the hell do you guys want us to talk about? I feel like we're running out of things to say.
I have no idea what the hell. What do you guys want from me, man?
Yeah, I mean, should I turn on my PS5 and start playing Madden or 2K or Battlefront for any Star Wars fans?
Oh, dude, we could do a Star Wars stream. Like, if you guys want a Star Wars channel, and you will help us run up the subs and get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Ooh, the Star Wars content will be flying your way, man. I cannot get Star Wars out of my brain recently.
Yeah,
so good.
Jack and I are Star Wars nerds. For those guys that don't know,
Richie just got a VR, that Facebook Oculus VR thing, and I'll be going over his house later. And there's a Jedi game where you just hold the lightsaber and train, and I'm just not even physically or mentally prepared for it.
You're not.
I'm so excited.
You're not.
So excited. I'm so excited.
Oh man. All right, guys. Man. Appreciate all the love.
I think that's gonna be it.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm gonna try to make PS5 content. I know a lot of people want that. I'm gonna record me playing as the New York Knicks online and bodying people with Emmanuel quickly. But it's gonna be fun. Yeah, that does it for the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm also gonna make Madden videos about the Jets, rebuilding the Jets eventually. So a lot of stuff here on Jets Media. So thank you guys so much to all 62 people watching. You guys are goats. You guys are awesome. Yes, Ryan, I will be getting MLB The Show when it comes out in April or this month maybe. So stay tuned for that. But thanks, Jack, for tuning in as always. And
thank you for having me, brother. Always a pleasure. I love all you guys in the chat, and just appreciate all the support you show the channel. And yeah, it was a nice long live stream today. I really got the chance to hang out with you guys for a little bit, and it was fun, man.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. And we'll catch you guys in the next stream. Let's go, Jets.